Well, I came out here with a job opportunity. I basically grew up in Mexico and Texas, but after I had my first job on the Texas border and worked there for 2 years, and a friend of the family's had a development opportunity out here in Orlando, and asked if, because I had a planning degree, if I'd like to come out here and work on their project. I didn't even know where Orlando was. I had to look it up on a map. There was, somebody told me, if you're you need to move to Mount Dora. They knew Mount Dora more than they knew Orlando, so that's really, it's hard to believe these days now, but back then, I just remember Walt Disney talking about the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, on the Sunday Disney Channel and so forth. It was really, came out here basically cold turkey, not knowing anything about Orlando. Well, the biggest change, other than the increase in population, which I think has jumped from 400,000 in the metro area then to, I guess we're way over 2 million now. I don't know, there've been just so many changes. I mean, it's like a completely new community. The sprawl, which I think has really created a lot of disinvestment in areas that should have been invested in. But obviously, the biggest change is probably the whole the explosion of the whole tourism industry. It was way beyond anything. I'm sure Walt Disney, if he came back, he would have never figured that out. And then the quality of life we have here in downtown Orlando. Again, back then, there wasn't a whole lot of there in downtown. So that's been, of course, that's been my sort of bread and butter here. Well, I had two young boys. That was a sort of a full-time job, and I guess Rosie O'Grady's was just about to start up. So I'd like to go to Rosie O'Grady's nickel beer night and that type of thing. So that was a real different. That was unlike anything else anybody around here had ever seen, or me personally anywhere else. So, but I think Rosie O'Grady's was a real game changer for downtown. I just love walking around our neighborhood. We live in the Delaney Park neighborhood, and all the lakes. I mean, it's just a fabulous area. And downtown, that's again, I'm a real urbanite, and Lake Eola and all the things that go along with. Now I'm gotten a lot older, the 40-something years. There's not the nighttime. They start when I go to bed. But the downtown is still my favorite place. Even though Church Street is open, it's not like it was. And if we could, turn the clock back a little bit so that the Cheyenne Saloon and the Orchid Garden and Phineas Fogg's and Rosie O'Grady's were back in their heyday, I don't think people realize what an unbelievable place that was. That, if we could turn the clock back and put that back on front burner here on Church Street, that would be really special. Downtown's renaissance, yesterday's dreams, today's success. So I think the city and the community leadership has been phenomenal in turning our central city around. I think we have one of the finest in the country now, and that took a lot of, we were overnight success after 30-something years. So, and it's only beginning, I think, in many respects with the new Amway Center and then the soccer stadium. I don't think people realize what that venue is going to be as far as generating excitement, particularly during the summertime. And so there are a lot of other things, and of course the Performing Arts Center. Again, I've said many times that I think that Performing Arts Center will probably have as big or even a bigger impact than the Amway Center on this community for all it'll bring and the excitement it'll bring and the quality of performances and for young people to really aspire to the arts. So I think that's really going to be a special place that we just don't quite conceive of how important that is. But we thought about it in 1986. The first plans of where that Performing Arts Center is what we said where it should be in 1986 under Mayor Frederick. And so sometimes you have to wait for the right time financially and politically and the like, but the plans were all set way back in the mid 80s for that whole, for the Performing Arts Center, the City Hall, and the City Commons, and all the fountains and everything that go in there. So it's exciting to see it come around. Well, I think some of the other things that are, now that I'm thinking the special about Orlando in particular, is the leadership we've had from Mayor Langford, Mayor Frederick, Mayor Hood, and now Mayor Dyer, is the really understanding what a community is about. It's about neighborhoods and people, and that we've really protected our neighborhoods and enhanced them, and that investment is paying off in so many ways. And we see that now in the schools being rebuilt in the inner city, and then just the investment of the arts and culture and all these other assets that we see popping up. And those don't just happen. Those was created by the leadership and all the city commissioners that supported that as well, and the county commissioners as well for a lot of the financing. So I think we're just on the cusp of really going to the next level as a very high quality place to live. I guess the other big thing that I think about is the airport. The airport changed everything, really. I mean, Disney brought the airport. The airport really connected us to the rest of the world. And once we did that, and the great marketing machine that Disney and now Universal with Harry Potter, and that is just it is really phenomenal what we take for granted. Well, I think other things, when I talk to people, oh, I've been to Orlando, and I said, yeah, you have? Where'd you? He said, well, I went to Disney World. I said, no, you haven't been to Orlando. Mm-hmm. Only time you were in Orlando was when you landed, and then you took the thing and you were out at Disney World. And when they actually come into the city and they see the brick streets and oak trees with moss on them and all these lakes, they're saying, holy mackerel, I didn't know this. No. That's what, it's a real, they still think it's palm trees, and they think of it as South Florida because it is Florida has that connotation, but that's a real special aspect of living here.